I'm Fiona MacKay, and welcome to 8 resistance traits, how to identify them and how to remove them from your writing. Sometimes resistance is necessary, but most of the time, and these traits are mostly negative traits. So if you find any in your own writing, you probably want to remove them, and I'll show you how. And if you find them in someone else's writing, well, resistant traits often are an insecurity. They're not always, but sometimes they are. So by understanding why somebody is behaving that way, by knowing that the behavior comes from that resistance trait, it can help you to deal with the person more effectively, but also perhaps more kindly, with more understanding. So the traits we're going to look at are irritability. So that's someone who just gets agitated very quickly for nothing. Someone who has an actual temper, so temper. Sarcasm. Now, sarcasm can be fun. A lot of people use sarcasm as humor, but it can also be biting and cutting. So that's a trait to identify. And really, you can see if there's all negative traits around it, then hey, it's a nasty one. If there's no negative traits around it, then it's probably the fun one. Defiance of authority, interesting trait. Someone who just doesn't like to be told what to do. Someone who's stubborn. And this is a trait that is very often misunderstood. A lot of people who say that they themselves are stubborn do not have stubborn in their writing. The trait they have in their writing is positive. And positive means you dig your heels in and you stand for what you believe in. But if someone proves you wrong, you accept it. A stubborn person never accepts the wrong. Then there's argumentative. So the stubborn person probably becomes argumentative if you try and prove them wrong. Argumentative can be fun. It can be the person who enjoys a debate, who enjoys a fun argument. It can also be the person who gets heated and mad and angry and argues about everything. Again, it depends on whether it's included in handwriting of easygoing, fun-loving person or someone who's just ready to explode. Aggression. Aggressiveness, when it's mild, is actually enterprising. It's go ahead and get things done. This is good. But aggressiveness that becomes strong just becomes like we normally think of the word in English as aggressive, just pushing their way in, unwanted, too forceful, etc. And the last one is resentment. If you go through life resenting things that really nobody intended to hurt you with, you just resent anything and everything, all you do is make yourself very unhappy. And it's a trait that most people who have it don't know they have it. So it's a great one to identify in your writing if you have it and practice on letting it go. And it's also useful to identify in other people's writing. Then you know where they're coming from. They're feeling resentful. It's just who they are. It's not that you've done anything wrong. So the eight traits that we're going to look at here, they're great to look at and see if they're in your own writing, and remove any ones that you don't want, and identify just why you want them if you want to keep them, or why you want to lose them if you want to lose them. And it's great to be able to look at other people's writing because it helps you understand them and deal with them so much better if you know where they're coming from, especially if they tend to be, I was going to say nasty, but that's the wrong word. If they tend to be a bit difficult to get along with, let's put it that way. If someone's a bit difficult to get along with, then if you know where it's coming from or why they're being that way, it'll make them an awful lot easier for you to deal with. So whether it's you or whether it's somebody else, let's get going and look at 8 resistance traits, how to identify them and remove them from your writing.